12 Sports presents high school girls basketball. Tonight, a non-conference matchup between the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights and the Maranatha Christian Academy Mustangs. From Maranatha Christian Academy in Brooklyn Park, John Jacobson along with Ryan Iverson. Ryan, tonight we had a chance to see two programs that have really been among the best in the state in their respective classes. Benilde with 2 state championships since 2006 in 3A, and since 2011, Maranatha has won 2 titles in Class 1A.
Well, I love that too, John. Early in the year, a lot of times you get a lot of cream puff matchups, if you will. So I love that both these teams were willing to play each other, even though they're different classes. It's success versus success. Great programs, a lot of talent on both sides. Should be a really good ball game tonight.
Each team won better than 20 games a year ago. Benilde lost in their section tournament, and Maranatha got all the way to the state tournament. In the game you and I did, Ryan, Maranatha lost in overtime in the quarterfinals against Mankato Loyola. Now, going ahead to this year, both teams with some players returning, but definitely lost some players to graduation. So it's early in the year, and each coach will get a chance to see how their team reacts against a quality opponent. Well,
I got 2 words for you. We're going to hear this name a lot tonight. Lexi Lee, extremely talented. She's going to Sioux Falls next year. She got extensive playing time, of course, last year on that state tournament team. But she came out, she had 32 in her first game. They are very athletic. They can score a lot of points, and so can Benilde-St. Margaret. So I like the matchup. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Who can ever contain the ball, ever can limit the turnovers, and execute down the stretch, I think is going to have the advantage tonight.
That should be a good one. It's Benilde and Maranatha Christian Academy and girls basketball. We'll tip it off in a moment on 12 Sports. Stay with us.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome to Maranatha Christian Academy. Benilde-St. Margaret's Maranatha girls basketball tonight, live on Channel 12. Earlier saw Maranatha boys defeat Providence Academy here. Now the girls take center stage. MCA girls 23-6 a year ago in the Class 1A state tournament. And for Benilde-St. Margaret's 21-7 a year ago. They lost in the Section 6-3A semifinals. They're 2-0 so far this year, and 2 very good programs under Bob Lyons, and Chris Bierman has continued the tradition at Maranatha. We'll talk more about that as the evening goes on. As you look at our starting lineup, starting with Benilde-St. Margaret's, their guards tonight, Allie Coughlin and Gretchen Sadler. And the forwards, Sydney Liebel, Azaria Jackson-Sherrod, and Abby Wilgers. And for Maranatha, Lexi Lee and Elena Jarnot, a very good backcourt. The forwards, Jacqueline Jarnot, Jessie Mayan, and Naja Watkins.
And you see with Maranatha Christian Academy, lots of groups of sisters. Of course, you have the Jarnots, Lexi Lee. They lost Madison Lee from last year's team. So, you know, we saw Hanson with the boys team, yep. Coughlin. I mean, so a number of siblings end up having just excellent careers here at for the Mustangs. You know, the other thing, too, you talked about their head coaches. I know both of these head coaches somewhat well, and they're both really well organized, really well prepared. They do a great job of teaching the fundamentals. And the other thing I look to at this level is our kids, when they're freshmen, they have great years. They're graduating as seniors better than what they were as freshmen. They're constantly getting better. So both these coaches do an excellent job too, John, of developing their talent.
MCA in black, Benilde-St. Margaret's in white, and the opening tap is controlled by Benilde, and going for the driving layup and scoring. First points is Gretchen Sattler, the senior.
Yeah, nice job too. That's great when you can get a basket right off of the tip, using her left hand. Beautiful finish. Great start to the game here for Benilde-St. Margaret.
Liebel rebounding the missed three, and Benilde back in an offensive set. Sattler out top to Liebel into the lane. 2 early baskets for Benilde-St. Margaret in the first 35 seconds of the game.
Well, and Sydney Liebel, she's a senior, and you can see she's very aggressive, can get all the way to the rim. She's averaging 17 points, so she's a very capable scorer, and a nice job, a great start for the Red Knights on the road, too.
Lexi Lee's shot hit the side of the backboard. Benilde, another offensive try. From the corner, Liebel missing, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Red Knights.
And I thought Jessie Mayen there, number 23 for the Mustangs, could have gotten that basketball. They both kind of stood stagnant there, JJ, and I thought she could have grabbed that basketball, saved possession to go the other way for the Mustangs.
Lob goes in, nice backdoor cut, and dropping it in with Sattler on the assist to Abby Wilgers.
Yeah, Wilgers inside out, beautiful looking pass. She kind of turned to her left, dropped it over to the right. Just a great start for Benilde so far.
And another layup, the basket by Wilgers, and the assist this time from Liebel. And 8-0 Benilde.
Yeah, Bob Lyons couldn't have drawn it up any better on the road, up 8-0. They've gotten in transition, they've knocked jump shots, they've gotten inside out. Just been a really nice looking start.
4 shooting starts so far for MCA. They do get another chance here, but then turn it over. Red Knights with Sattler bringing it up. She'll pass it into the front court. And out of bounds, a turnover for the Red Knights. And mistakes early for the Mustangs, and they've yet to get on the board.
And we've seen Lexi Lee take a couple of pretty long contested three-pointers, and we saw her last year on Channel 12 in that state tournament game be able to knock those down. But you're seeing a lot of perimeter shots. Sometimes you got to get it started by getting something going to the basket, John.
Tie up at midcourt after the missed three-pointer. Mayen and Azaria Jackson-Sherrod tying up. Jackson-Sherrod, an outstanding player for the Red Knights for the last few years. He's their top returning scorer. Of course, they lost Allie Coughlin's older sister, Grace, who's now at the University of Minnesota. Madison Lee, we talked about at Minnesota State Mankato, playing collegiate ball. Open three from Liebel, knocks it down.
Well, she's got a really nice inside-out game. She's got good height, good size. We saw her get to the basket. Now we've seen her knock a couple of jump shots, too. She's a really talented offensive player.
Jarnot losing it. Sattler to the basket. She'll go to the line for 2 as she's fouled by Watkins.
And everything you're seeing right now for the Mustangs, as we take a look at head coach Chris Bierman, or
Bob Lyons.
Benilde there, Bob Lyons. But everything you've seen for the Mustangs, John, has been a quick one-pass, three-point jump shot. Nothing going to the basket, nothing to kind of get the rhythm, get the flow of the offense going. And they've dug themselves a big hole here, down 11 to start the game, only a couple minutes in. And there's Chris Bierman, who's really just built this into a powerhouse of girls basketball. He's got a lot of great talent, does an excellent job of maximizing their talent, their effort. He's a phenomenal coach, as is Bob Lyons for Benilde-St. Margaret's.
How about the start for Benilde, though? Not even 3 minutes in, and they're doing everything right and then taking advantage of the mistakes that MCA has made.
Well, and you look, too, they beat St. Anthony to start the season 60-46, beat Spring Lake Park 71-42, and then you look at Maranatha Academy, 88 points in their opener, and to get 11 early points like this and to hold the Mustangs to 0, I mean, you couldn't have executed a better start or diagrammed a better start. It's just, and they've done it in a variety of ways, in transition, in the half-court setting, from the outside, from the inside, a couple of give and goes, just beautiful offensive basketball, and really forcing the Mustangs into taking some pretty wild shots from the perimeter.
Out of the timeout, we'll have Sattler at the line for 2.
And she's a capable scorer too, averaging about 8 points per game, averaging almost 4 steals per game. And she kind of is their do everything. She plays that guard forward spot, can shoot the ball, can get to the basket, very athletic. She's a very all-around talented basketball player.
Already has 6 points, and it's a 13-0 Red Knights lead. Lexi Lee, front court. Elena Jarnot. Drive, lost the ball off the dribble. Another turnover for MCA. Benilde turns it into 2 more. You know, I talked to assistant coach Bart Eniger before the game, Alec Coughlin, with that last basket. He said, we don't like to run, but when given the opportunity, we will run. And they have shown that early, and they've taken advantage.
Well, in that last transition layup, Alec Coughlin is the one who scored that. There could have been 3 or 4 different, but I mean, they were all 4 out in front. And right now, the Mustangs, they not taking wild shots, turning the ball over, not having any defensive balance, no one back on the other end to slow down the transition of Benilde-St. Margaret.
Off the elbow, the shot by Wilgers won't go. MCA turns it back up court, pass into the lane, thrown away. They've just had some errant passes early on here. Jackson Sherrod to the basket. All 5 starters have scored now for BSM.
AJ Sherrod, 15.5 points, 6 rebounds. She's got good handle. She can score a variety of ways too. And someone's got to step up here on this Mustang and stop the bleeding, as they're just getting absolutely outplayed on both ends of the floor and effort-wise too.
That one missed by Jackson Sherrod. The rebound is Sammy Payne, a 6-foot sophomore, into the game off the bench. Driving is Lexi Lee. Tough shot. I think Wilgers might have gotten a piece of that as we get a foul in the backcourt on MCA.
Well, it just seems chaotic, doesn't it, John?
Right. Yes.
On offense, like there's no set rhythm, there's no play. Lexi Lee, who is a phenomenal basketball player, has really made some pretty poor decisions here to start the game, taking some wild shots. Her passes have been, you know, errant and to nobody, and they've had no rhythm going. They got to get someone to just calm this team down offensively and get a good look.
Liebel missing from the corner. Jackson Sherrod rebounds off to Wilgers. And Wilgers will go to the line for 2. Benilde's got some good interior play with Wilgers and Jackson Sherrod. Physical players, good size, and along with Liebel, really can be dangerous in the paint. Liebel more of an outside player, but still good size.
Well, they got good balance. They got, you know, 4 players averaging 6 points or more, and they do it in a variety of ways. They can shoot the ball from the perimeter. They can play inside out. You can see they can play slow in the half court, or they can play fast in transition. So they really got a nice mix, and that helps too when you can match up against a variety of different styles of basketball.
Wilgers hits the second free throw. 18-0.
I'm shocked at the start of this game. I'm not shocked that Benilde has come out and played really well. I'm just shocked that to be up 18 points, we're not even 5 minutes into the game. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
These teams went to overtime when they played a year ago, with Benilde winning.
The good news is, if you are a Mustang fan, is they can score points in a hurry.
Drive into the lane, ball out of bounds. Contact, no foul called there. Just an inbound play coming for the Mustangs. Mayan will inbound it. Out to Lee, deep 3-pointer for Lexi Lee off the back iron, and rebounded by AJ Sherrod.
And they're off in transition. They have numbers again. Beautiful, unselfish play, and an excellent pass by Albie Wilgers. And it's 20-0. Oh, nice look by Lexi Lee. Just a little bit low, unable to hold on to it is Jessie Mayan.
Look at that last play. This is great basketball.
And this is the last play, but John, really that could have been any play of the first 5 minutes of the game. We've seen transition on one end converted into points on the other end for Benilde-St. Margaret.
Excuse me, rare early turnover for Benilde, and turns into possible points here for Maranatha. Jarnot driving the line. She'll go to the line here for 2.
Well, Elena, 22 points per game, 22 in the first game. She plays on the top Minnesota AAU program with the other elite Minnesota girls players. So she's certainly been used to playing against the best, with the best, and she's very capable of putting up big numbers. And it's nice to finally break the lid off that rim and get your first point.
Kylie Post into the game now for MCA as Jarnot gets that first point up on the board for the Mustangs, makes them both. So 20-2, and a ball thrown out of bounds by Wilgers. But Stanley had already cut more closer to the basket than Wilgers thought.
Well, Wilgers had the right idea, John. She caught, turned, and looked. Instead, she threw it before she actually looked. So they had the right idea of breaking that press, getting the ball into the middle, and being able to advance it. But she just didn't look before she threw it.
Long way from the basketball, we whistled on Allie Coughlin. That's her first, team second. Inbound to the baseline, driving nicely is Lee, who scores and one.
Yeah, what I like there, John, is she didn't settle for a three right out of the out of bounds. Look at her, she just attacks it, rips it left. Look at that move. Great hesitation between her legs, goes baseline, takes the contact, gets an easy shot to fall. And again, as a scorer, sometimes you just got to see that ball go in once and it becomes contagious for her. And I like that she didn't settle for a contested, tough three-point shot. Instead, she got to the basket, got fouled, get to the free throw line, see that ball go in. That could be big for her confidence and for the Mustang offense.
Coughlin picking up her second foul. She comes out. Gretchen Sattler back in. A nice break the press here. Down low to Sherrod, up and in.
Well, Sherrod's going to get the points, but what a great play and set up by Allie Coughlin. She showed off her ball handling and then fired a great strike for the easy two.
Here comes Jackson Sherrod again, up and in. Elena Jarnot back the other way. She'll pop the long shot off the iron, no. Rebound coming down to Mayan. They'll reset. Cross court, Lee. And turning into traffic as Post. And a foul on the Red Knights.
Well, here's the difference. Benilde's getting looks, John, from 2 feet in. Wide open, layups. And here's transition, which we've seen. And look at Sherrod with the ball handling skills. She just takes that ball right up and over Jarnot, and that's the difference. They're getting layups, and the Mustangs are shooting contested jump shots.
Outside shot up and in, a three-pointer for Lee.
And she's a dangerous scorer. She can score in a hurry, and she can score in bunches. And that's why I think getting to that free throw line, seeing the ball go in, is going to really help her shot.
Jackson Sherrod up with the shot, won't go. Loose ball to the corner. Lexi Lee trying to retrieve it, couldn't do so. It'll be Benilde ball. Inbound pass from Sattler. Ball tipped by Lee. Turnover for BSM. Here's Jarnot. Nice. This is the game that Benilde does not want to get into with MCA.
Well, and you can see Lexi Lee, she's a little bit more into the game, playing with a little more effort and passion, tipping that ball. And scoring becomes contagious when they can start running and getting easy looks.
Jackson Sherrod, nice feed from Wilgers for two.
Well, they haven't had an answer for Sherrod here today. She's gotten the ball in transition, down low, driving to the basket. She's been phenomenal.
Jarnot pops in a three. She has 7, Lee has 6. They've accounted for all 13 MCA points. They're on a 13-6 run, yet still trail by 13.
Well, they got 13 points, John, in about the last 2.5 minutes. So we talked about they can put up points in a hurry. And there's Elena Jarnot, nice inside out. She catches it in rhythm. That was a different type of a shot. That was in the flow of the offense. She was able to square up, and she scored 22 points in their first game. She can put up numbers in a hurry. And sometimes perimeter shooting can really happen in bunches, especially for the Mustangs. And you can feel the intensity now picking up on the defensive end too.
Drive to the basket, off the back iron, won't go for Sattler. Foul up, and yep. Azaria Jackson-Sherrod will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, and a beautiful looking move by Sattler. She goes with the left hand, and sometimes even when you penetrate, if you don't get the basket to go, you're drawing defenders over to you. It allows your other offensive players to get in position, get offensive rebounds, and AJ Sherrod has just been dominant so far tonight.
9 points in the game's first 8 minutes for the senior.
9 points. She's had a number of rebounds, a couple of blocks, a couple of assists. She's just really had a hand in every facet of the game for the Red Knights.
Red Knights by 15 here. Leah handoff to Mayan, now Elena Jarnot. Watkins in and out. Good look at the basket. Can't get it to low. Lee offensive board scores.
And you can see she's in the right place at the right time. The ball get tipped. And I like that they went into Watkins. She's 6'1". She's got good height. You could see, John, she faded away when she shot that. She's got to get her action going to the basket. She's too tall and too talented. No one's going to block her shot.
Outside shot here drops. Three-pointer from Liebel, her second.
And she averages 17, so she's very capable scoring. She's got it rolling, and just a fun back-and-forth game here now that Maranatha Christian Academy's gotten in the flow offensively.
Jacqueline Jarnot driving is fouled and will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, nice inside out, and you can see they're not afraid to drive, kick, draw the defense. They know they got shooters at all positions. And just beautiful, unselfish offense by the Red Knights.
Let's look at Jacqueline Jarnot, the younger sister of Elena, just a freshman. And Coach Bierman was raving about how much she has improved. She's about the 8th player last year for the team as an 8th grader, but grew 4 inches over the summer. Now a 6-foot freshman, more athletic, and really is going to be a outstanding high school player.
And she's 6 foot now as a 9th grader. She could continue that, maybe get to 6'2". She's got good ball handling skills, can shoot the basketball. She's going to be a heck of a basketball player, already getting significant playing time, you know, last year as an 8th grader and again this year as a 9th grader.
Hit the end of that, but then the steal for Benilde-St. Sattler will bring it up court.
Oh, nice play. Smart decision there to back it out. She didn't have the numbers. Even though she turned that ball over, that was the right play there to back it out and try to get set up.
Naomi Lewis got a hand on that for MCA, helped create the turnover on the drive by Sattler, and out of bounds. It'll be Maranatha basketball. They trail by 16 years. We're near the midway point of the first half. Popping from the corner, Mayan's shot won't go. Scramble on the floor. We'll get a whistle. And it's going to be MCA basketball. Bob Lyons wanting an explanation. Referee felt the ball was kicked. We get a timeout on the floor for Benilde now. Comes with 9:35 to play here in the first half.
You know what I like too, John, is Benilde-St. Margaret got off to that 20-0 start. And then you saw the momentum start to go a little bit for the Mustangs. But I thought the Red Knights did a nice job of answering back and being able to get some easy looks after that, still getting transition, still playing aggressively on offense. So they kind of took the punch from the Mustangs and were still able to maintain a significant lead. And really, they couldn't have asked for a better start on the road in a very difficult environment to play. It's a good rivalry. These teams have played each other. They're annually two of the top basketball programs in the state. So this is a big game, big start, and you really can't ask for a better start on the road than Benilde-St. Margaret's has had here tonight.
A tough week for the Red Knights after this game. They go to Waconia on Thursday. Now, Waconia, I think MCA likes to run. Waconia loves to run up and down the court. And then they host Marshall on Saturday. Marshall, the state runner-up in Class 3A last year, losing the championship game to Park Center. So this is the first of 3 tough games for the Red Knights. But they'll learn a lot about their team here in the next 5 days.
Well, and we talked about it in the pregame. I like when teams schedule hard in the beginning of the year. You know, even if you do suffer an early season defeat, your girls get a chance to play against the best, and it's only going to prepare you for a tough conference stretch or in the postseason down the road. So hats off to them for scheduling tough opponents early on. I don't know what the confusion was there at half court.
Back out of the timeout, Maranatha with the basketball, and Chris Bierman racing out of the court. He wants a quick 30-second timeout.
Yeah, that defense, it almost appeared like a boxing one on Lexi Lee there. And he's upset about something. He's trying to get them into some type of motion. And I think he senses too, is a lot of one-on-one here early on, a lot of quick shots, a lot of contested deep perimeter shots, maybe trying to get them in the flow of a game here and try to get them in a set offensive play. That was back-to-back timeouts without any seconds going off the clock. You don't see that very often.
Elena Jarnot to the corner. Mayan. Back out. Lewis going to Jarnot. Elena Jarnot to Mayan. Lexi Lee for 3. Spins out. Rebound to Katie Jo Schlater, and then we get a backcourt foul.
And Naja Watkins, I believe, but you know, and here you can see a foul call, just a good effort play, good hustle play. Even though Lexi Lee missed that shot, I thought that was a good-looking 3. It came after about 3 or 4 perimeter passes, a drive and kick. It was in rhythm. She just knocked one down the previous play. So those are shots you can live with. But how about the ball handling, too, from Elena Jarnot? She's showing off her skill level. She's got a great handle, great crossover dribble.
Ellie Coughlin on the perimeter. Schlater now to the corner. Driving baseline. Coughlin will put her up and in.
Just a beautiful offensive move. Shot fake the 3. One dribble on the baseline. She knew exactly where she wanted to go with that. Great offensive move. Nice mid-range jumper, too.
Payne is fouled as she goes up for the shot.
Yeah, nice inside-out shot fake. One dribble to the baseline. Defender closing out on her. Great looking touch. She's a great player. Of course, we talked about her sister as well. She's been around the game of basketball for a long time. She's about as smart of a IQ basketball player as you could have out there. She just seems to always make the right decisions.
Sammy Payne making the first free throw. Older sister Michaela, a key part of that Maranatha success the last couple of years. Now 1 out of 2 free throws. Michaela playing basketball at Moorhead this year. From the corner, looking at the basket with Sadler, drove, then kicked out the pass. Liebel not afraid to shoot the 3 and knocks down another one. Her 3rd triple of the game.
Why would you be afraid to knock that one down? She's got just a beautiful shot. She camps out on the perimeter, and she's got great girls that can draw the defense, kicks it out to her, and she switched her 3rd one in a row. A nice looking jump shot.
Shot a little too strong by Lee underneath after the feed from Elena Jarnot. Another try from the baseline. That one won't go for Payne. A tie-up. Alternate possession will give the ball to Benilde.
I know Lexi Lee is a little frustrated on some of her shots not falling, but she's playing with great effort. You can see she throws herself onto the floor getting that jump ball. And there she draws a push-off from Benilde-St. Margaret. They're going to get Gretchen Sattler pushing off on Lexi Lee. And that's what great players do, John. Your shots aren't always going to fall. You're going to have off nights where it's just not falling, it's just not feeling right, but you can impact the game in so many other factors by being a good passer, a good defender, getting shots for other players, as she does right there, and a big three-pointer, too, by Sammy Payne, as she knocks it down from the right baseline.
Turned and fired from the corner and knocks it down for her first field goal of the game. That shot missing from Liebel, out of bounds to Maranatha.
Yeah, Lexi Lee draws the defender, knocks it over to Sammy Payne, and that was a big-time three to pull them within 17. So you're under 8 minutes, you're under 17 points. You just got to start trying to figure out how to chip away at this lead, maybe get it down into single digits, you know, before you go into halftime. Still a lot of game left to play.
Elena Jarnot down low, missed the shot, ball tipped, and it comes to Sattler. She'll push it up for the Red Knights. Sattler off to the corner to Sherrod. Sherrod is fouled by Payne.
Well, that was kind of a tentative whistle right there. And he called the foul, and I think he wanted to maybe let that go. And now he's going to say that wasn't in the act of shooting.
So baseline pass in. Tron got it to Liebel, who came around the defender, missed the shot inside, and the rebound to Lee. Lee out on the wing. Jarnot three. Elena Jarnot with her second three-pointer. She's got 10 points.
That's a great backcourt combination, isn't it? Lexi Lee over to Elena Jarnot, and just a 1-2 punch, and you can see how talented they both are. And now you're hearing the noise level go up, defensive intensity going up. You're starting to feel the momentum maybe swinging over to the Mustang side.
Payne with the block. Jarnot feeds it off. The shot missed by Montgomery underneath. Payne with a try. That one partially blocked. Driving is Jacqueline Jarnot. Her try won't go. And Benilde finally with the basketball with Sattler.
Yeah, they got 4 or 5 good looks there. And you just get the feeling that those are shots they normally do make. And they're just rimming in and out, but they got exactly what they wanted.
Sattler open 17-footer long. And a foul's going to be whistled against Wilgers.
Well, and the other thing, too, Benilde-St. Margaret seems to be playing a little bit quicker, a little bit faster on offense. And you can see Lexi Lee gambled that time, and Sattler, once she realized Lexi Lee was behind her, kind of went, hurried that shot a little bit. She had an open look. And the great thing about Benilde-St. Margaret's start, John, was they were playing quick, but they were getting really good looks. They weren't playing too fast. They weren't trying to, force things that weren't there. The last couple of possessions, it seems like they're trying to get back to playing maybe a little bit too fast and see if they can slow it down and get back from, maybe get the ball into A.J. Sherrod down low, where she got off to a great start.
Jacqueline Jarnot missing the front end of the 1-and-1. Lexi Lee with a clean steal and goes in and drops in 2.
She can do it in such a variety of ways, from the perimeter, in transition. She plays good defense. She's got great hands.
Coughlin took it strong to the basket. Sherrod fights for the rebound, but it's blocked by Jacqueline Jarnot. Oh, finally. Looked like she had traveled, and Bierman bails her out. Coach Bierman with the timeout.
He saw that. She switched her pivot foot 2 different times there. Yeah, look at the quick hair. I think this is Lexi Lee coming in off the double team. She's got great hands, and she can finish with that left hand. She can do it in such a variety of ways. Very talented guard. Yeah, I think the Mustangs got away with a travel right there. And I think Coach Bierman saw that too, and before it was going to be called, he said, "Give me a timeout." But they've done a nice job, John. They've cut the lead down to 13. They're in a position where they could, easily trim this down into single digits going into halftime, kind of get the momentum at least back onto their side.
Lewis inbounding. Lexi Lee with the basketball. Jacqueline Jarnot, 3 and long. Rebound pulled down by Benilde-St. Margaret. It came to Schlieder, now in front court. Liebel out high. Coughlin had a good look a few moments ago on a drive, couldn't get it to go. That shot Didn't fall for Jackson Sherrod. Out of bounds off Benilde.
Yeah, and that time Sherrod didn't shoot that with confidence or with perseverance. She kind of got it and just threw it up there. Some of her other moves, she's been relentless, going after, getting that ball, knowing that she's going to be able to finish that.
Lee's three won't go. Tie up. Sherrod and Lewis. Possession arrow pointing MCA's way this time.
Oh, they're going to get a foul,
no.
I think,
We're going to get a foul. All right.
You know, in that last shot, too, Lexi Lee, who's a right-handed shooter, she came off of a down screen going to her left. And you can see she didn't quite get enough legs into it, real flat on that. That's hard for a shooter to do. And you can see there, it just looks like two girls who've given great effort. And it looked to be a jump ball. Instead, it's going to be in the bonus, and it's going to put Sherrod on the free throw line.
Back iron too strong. Rebound by Jacqueline Jarnot. Gets it to her sister Elena into the front court. Push it to the baseline. Shot up and in. 2 points for Payne.
And you can see how dangerous they are in transition. When Jarnot gets the ball going, she's like a train full of energy, and she makes the right play more often than not. And watch, she draws the defender to her, kicks it over to Payne, and Payne, that was a tough contested baseline jump shot. That's a great looking fast break. The lead's down to 11. They're slowly trimming this down, John.
And Benilde with a turnover. Chance for more points. Lewis kicks it out. Three-pointer rattles out for Jacqueline Jarnot.
That ball was halfway down and somehow managed to figure out. And there's another play that almost looked like it could have been a jump ball.
And again, it's Lewis who thought she had successfully tied up the player, in this case Liebel, and instead Lewis whistled for another foul.
Yeah, she's going to come out of the game with a couple of early fouls, and you can see her teammates on the bench giving her high fives, letting her know she played with great effort. Those were just good hustle plays.
Liebel missing the free throw, follows her own shot, puts it in.
She said, you know what, I don't like that distance. Let me mix it off the back rim, see if I can move up about a foot or two and knock it down for 2 points. Excellent job. You got to box the shooter out, John. That's one of the first things you work on.
Scramble on the floor. We'll get a foul on Liebel here. Or is it going to be on Lee of Maranatha as we look at it again?
Yeah, it's clear. That's a good foul. Now, there's a couple things about that play. One, that's going to be 2 fouls on Liebel, who's gotten off to a great start. And 2, you're putting Lexi Lee, who's a phenomenal free throw shooter, at the line for a one-on-one.
Lee making her second free throw of the first half. And got them both. 38-27. Pass front court. Here comes Sherrod. She is fouled by Jacqueline Jarnot.
Well, Sherrod, for a forward or a slash center, she can really handle the ball well. But I like Allie Coughlin, how her decision making. She dribbles it up off the sideline, handles the trap with ease, fires a strike into the middle of the floor, where Sherrod then has the ability to attack the basket. That's how you break some pressure and stay aggressive while doing it.
Second foul on Jacqueline Jarnot. These teams are not taking advantage from the free throw line, missing the bonus shot each time. Each team with 19 fouls so far, with 4:30 to go here in the first half. Steal made by Sattler. Nice feed off to Sherrod, who couldn't finish. Lee rebounds, and then has taken away by Sherrod. Has Sattler with her, but Sherrod takes it herself and scores.
Great effort by Sherrod. She saw Sattler wide open. She said, you know what, I worked for this. I got the steal. I think I'll take it in. Just great effort back and forth.
Payne to Jarnot. She'll pop a 3. Long, Sattler rebound. She'll get out and run. Sattler, nice pass to Coughlin.
What a pass. I'll tell you what, Gretchen Sattler's having a heck of a basketball game. She scored the basketball, but more importantly, she set up her teammates. She's played great defense. Just a beautiful pass. That's how you work a 2-on-1 transition right there.
Down low and getting free was Watkins. Pops in her first basket of the night.
Yeah, Watkins was able to get good position. They decided to front her, and a nice pass by Lexi Lee, throwing it over the top.
Sattler to Liebel. Back out to Schlieder. Liebel. Hand it off to Coughlin. Coughlin. 12-footer won't go. Rebound. Jacqueline Jarnot quickly out. Helena Jarnot will lay it in.
And that's too easy. You got to have some perimeter defense, someone the safety net to get back and stop that transition. And just when it feels like the Mustangs are making a run, I'll tell you the Red Knights answer at a big-time shot by Sattler.
Sattler with 7 points. Payne's shot won't go. Rebound to Coughlin. Liebel. Feeds it down. Sherrod. Hit on the arm by Jarnot. That'll be Jacqueline Jarnot's 3rd.
Yeah, she's got the height. Anytime you see that defender with that arm going downward, when it extends downward, it's going to be an easy call for the refs to make. If you can keep it just straight north and south, challenge it. But anytime you extend it downward, more often than not, the referee's going to call that a foul. And that time, Sherrod able to capitalize on the free throws.
Already 13 points for the senior. Buying in. Jarnot comes out with 3 fouls. 1 out of 2 for Sherrod on the free throws. Here comes MCA. Stop and pop for Lee, but the shot won't go. Great outlet pass. Liebel missing, but follow-up. And guess who's there? Sattler.
Yeah, she's been everywhere, John. And they're just really poor defensive balance by the Mustangs. They take a quick shot in transition. They have no one back on D. And that's a recipe for disaster. And Benilde-St. Margaret has been really able, you know, we talked about the Mustangs pushing the ball and wanting to play fast. I'll tell you, Benilde's been the team that's really made the most of it here today.
Another 2 for Gretchen Sattler.
I think she's had her hand, whether it be assist, steal, or rebound, or scoring it herself, in about 80% of their points here so far.
Wild shot by Watkins, but she's fouled by Liebel, and will go to the line.
Yeah, just a nice rip-through move, a good, strong move. See, what Maranatha has to do is someone has to step up and stop the ball. Instead, they allow her to get all the way to the basket. And again, Sattler just having a really aggressive, efficient first half and doing it all in a variety of different ways, too.
Now, following Sydney Liebel is her 3rd, so she's got to come out here. Benilde will counter with Ariana Powell, 5'11" junior. 1:27 to play. Coughlin, patient to Sattler. And Sattler is fouled on her drive. Both teams in the double bonus, so Sattler will shoot 2. Foul will be whistled on Lexi Lee.
Yeah, and you think too, they're up 17. Imagine, John, if Benilde had been able to knock down their free throws, take advantage of that.
Second one drops through for Sattler. Benilde's in an even 50 here in the first half.
Beautiful move.
Good move. Jarnot shot won't go. Big battle underneath for the ball. We get a jump ball.
Ariana Powell came in and just snatched that rebound. And I'll tell you, Benilde right now, they're winning those jump balls. They're winning the loose ball battles. They're winning the effort plays. They're hustling down offensive rebounds. They're running transition more. They're doing the little things to win this game, and that's why they've been able to put up 50 first half points. You know, you think too, they beat St. Anthony 60-46 earlier in the year. They're almost going to eclipse that whole scoring here just in the first half.
That shot won't go. Ball to the corner.
Look at this pass.
Pass ahead, Sattler to Sherrod, and one.
And John, there's just no one back for the Mustangs defensively. It's like all five are crashing the boards. Look at that. I mean, there's two Benilde players behind the defense. Someone's got to race down there and stop that outlet pass and stop that ball from getting all the way to the basket. And A.J. Sherrod certainly has been the beneficiary of some great transition passes in the first half.
Lead is 21 after MCA had gotten it down to 11. Seemingly a manageable margin for halftime, and now into the final 40 seconds. And Benilde's got its biggest lead of the game. Lee's shot won't go. Out of bounds, off of Mayan.
And you get a feeling, I mean, they're getting some decent shots. You get a feeling, John, those are shots that normally fall for them. And sometimes when you are down big early, you start forcing things. You start taking quicker shots. You know, rather than getting them in the flow of the offense, you start forcing stuff. And I think that's what's happened a little bit, too, to this Mustangs offense.
Drive by Coughlin to the basket. It's a little too strong. Back comes MCA with the rebound for Post. Long three, nice. Good for Elena Jarnot. Final seconds of the half. Sattler has had a very good first half. That shot won't go. Sherrod just missed at the buzzer. 88 points put on the board here in the first half. 53 for Benilde-St. Margaret as they take an 18-point lead into halftime. Bob Lyons' team off to a very good start. They get off to that 20-0 start, and then they close the half strong as well. Lead growing to 21 and now at 18 at halftime. Let's go courtside now to Ryan Iverson.
Hey, thanks, John. Coach, obviously 53 points in the first half. I know you're probably not too pleased with that defensive effort.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I'd like to have the 53. 53 is about right for us offensively. We're just casting them up without moving, and that's giving them some easy transition baskets that we take those away, and it looks a little bit different.
Well, obviously, you guys have the ability to put up points in a hurry. Down by 18 points. What do you tell your team as far as getting back into this game?
Well, it's time for us to get to work. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and dig in and just fight all the way to the end. We have the ability to put the points up. So.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half, too. All right, John, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. On a halftime score, 53-35. Benilde-St. Margaret's up on Maranatha Christian Academy. More live coverage of girls basketball on 12 Sports coming up after this timeout.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Yeah!
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
That's low. That's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Halftime at Maranatha, number 3rd-ranked team in Class 1A. Maranatha losing to Benilde-St. Margaret's 53-35 at halftime, and the Red Knights getting off to a blistering hot start to begin this game. And they couldn't miss early on. They were getting good looks, getting transition, making great passes. Everything was going right for them, and everything going wrong for MCA.
Well, and this play right here sums up the first half. Just a turnover or a miss on one end, and then Benilde-St. Margaret converted it into transition, easy buckets. And you mentioned it, John, great passing, always making the extra pass. She's been phenomenal, AJ Sherrod, in the first half as well. And here's Lexi Lee doing her thing, and that was her first bucket, which was nearly five and a half minutes into the game. Beautiful drive. You know, Sherrod, who's more of a power forward / center, was able to get out in transition, John, and have a lot of good buckets. There's Sydney Liebel. She had a big first half. 3 players for Benilde-St. Margaret in double figures. Great balance.
Lee scoring there. She's in double figures already. Good first half for Sydney Liebel. Missed that shot, but Gretchen Sattler has been seemingly everywhere, able to follow up, and then Sattler on a little drive here lays in 2 more. As we look at the top scorers in this game, Jackson Sherrod with 16 points, Liebel 15, and Sattler 13. Elena John on 15, Lee 12, and Payne 6.
Well, look at that box score for Benilde-St. Margaret's. I mean, that's usually an end of game type box score. So they were efficient. I don't know what their shooting percentage was, but I would guess it was probably around 60%, if you will, because a lot of those were in transition, a lot of those were easy buckets, and a lot of them were making the extra passes. So, you know, if I'm Coach Bob Lyons, I'm just, you know, singing praises to how we played, but also warning my girls that, hey, we're playing a dangerous offensive team. We can't relax, we can't settle yet, and we got to get off to another good start. Let's put this away early.
53-35 at halftime, Benilde and Maranatha. We'll come back with more coverage of live basketball on this Tuesday night from Brooklyn Park after this timeout.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
$18-point lead for BSM at halftime. Ryan is standing by with Red Knights head coach Bob Lyons.
Hey, Coach Lyons, obviously a great start to that first half, 20-0, 53 first half points. What did you think of the pace of that first half?
Yeah, this is one of those games where you really can't prepare too well for in practice. You just gotta make sure you don't turn the ball over, and they take a lot of quick shots. And I tell the girls, long shots, you're gonna get long rebounds. So our guards gotta continue to defend well on the perimeter, and they gotta box out and, you know, be patient when we get a chance to, and they can score in bunches, so this lead's not going to be safe. So we're going to have to play even better in the second half.
I thought you guys gave them kind of a dose of their own medicine as far as defensively, getting your hands on everything, being very active, but not only getting stops, but then converting it into points in a hurry. That very efficient offense.
Yeah, I think we do a lot of work on defense, and our post players have helped out quite a bit. And the two guards for Maranatha are really tough to handle, and we've picked our spots. So we've been able to, when we get a good rebound or a steal, we've been able to throw it down there and get some easy buckets, which has helped us out quite a bit.
How big are the first couple minutes here to start the second half?
Well, it's great. It's huge because we got a couple girls with 3 fouls, and we don't have a deep bench at this moment in the season. So we have to match their intensity because knowing Chris, they're going to come out hard, and hopefully we can start out well.
Great. Thanks for your time. Good luck in the second half, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, John, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, Brooke Stanley and Sydney Liebel each with 3 fouls. One of the early fouls that we thought was on Allie Coughlin actually is on Stanley. And so their top reserve plus Liebel with 3. And Liebel's had a good first half with 15 points. Benilde does certainly have a comfortable lead to work with at halftime. They start the second half with the opening possession, leading by 18. Sattler will go to the corner with the pass to Liebel. Swings it around right side. Nice pass from Wilgers, now in some trouble. Liebel trying to get the pass off and knocked out of bounds, and it's off Benilde. And turnover on the Red Knights.
I know that wasn't a start that Coach Lyons wanted. He just kind of told me off camera there, John. He wants his team to stay aggressive, but also don't be afraid to be patient. Take some time off the clock. Recognize we have an 18-point lead. Don't be passive, but we don't necessarily have to force anything.
Coughlin with a great scoop shot off the long feed from Jackson Sherrod. Allie Coughlin with 8.
She's a great player, too. She's fun, she's smart, and she's really talented. She's great in transition, too.
Elena Jarnot zipping it across. Lexi Lee for 3. That won't go. Jacqueline Jarnot crashing the boards, and she's fouled by Liebel, and that'll be her 4th.
Yeah, and that's a big foul. Liebel's been a huge part of this game offensively, obviously, with a huge first half. And here's where the freshman, Jacqueline Jarnot, growing those 4 inches really helped. She was able to go up, get that ball. And I like how in one motion, she just went right at the basket, through the contact. And that's huge. If you can get to the foul line, stop the clock, get a couple of points, see the ball go in, you just start chipping away at this lead. And like Coach Lyons said, this Mustang team can score points in a hurry. So no lead is really safe against them.
1 on a 2 for Jacqueline Jarnot. Sattler in for Wilgers for 2.
Yeah, Wilgers saw Sherrod having such great success down low, and she wanted to get in on the action. That was a big-time move. She got great post position there, and all she had to do was turn and fire. An excellent offense, getting great shots. Whatever they want to get, they're getting.
Jarnot's pull-up shot won't go. Jacqueline Jarnot, another offensive board, and is fouled again.
I thought she was shooting that, too.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like she was in the act of shooting. They're going to call that one on the floor. But either way, you like Jacqueline Jarnot getting involved offensively, getting second chance points and opportunities.
That's 3 on Wilgers now. Shot won't go for Lee on the drive. Ripping it away is Wilgers. We'll get a foul on Watkins. No, they'll be on Lee. They're both there, and Lee a little too aggressive defensively. Picks up her second.
Yeah, and that's, again, you know, Lee with a nice move. You just get the idea that's a shot that normally would fall for her. And it's just kind of been one of those nights. She's frustrated. She's got to stay attacking, stay aggressive, because they need her points. And they need her to get hot and to keep getting other people involved, to keep playing good defense and just disrupting stuff, because that's what she does.
Sentler. Wilgers gets blocked by Mayan. Down low, they go to Sherrod. Great feed from Schleter on the wing, and A.J. Sherrod now with 18 points.
Yeah, she's great, isn't she? Around, oh, I don't know where that pass was going. You know, but look at Sherrod. When she gets down, look at her cut right down to the lane, calling for the ball, and she can finish with both right and left hand. And that's tough to guard. And on the other end, too, I mean, the Mustangs can't have careless turnovers anymore. This game, they're down by 23. They got to be efficient. They got to at least get a good shot, a good look every time down the floor.
Sentler called for traveling. Well, Benilde-St. Margaret's not ranked in the first Class 3A ranking of the season, but they win tonight and go to 3-0. They'll be ranked.
Well, and like they always say, it doesn't matter where you're ranked. As TCU just found out, it doesn't matter where you're ranked in the beginning of the year. It's where you are at the end of the year. And a nice-looking shot, Elena Jarnot. She's a great ball handler, John, and she creates space and has that little step back. She's got a really quick release. I've been really impressed with her.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Jacqueline Jarnot getting in the hand defensively. Look at that. 3 for Elena Jarnot.
And you know how tough that is? She's dribbling to her left, stepping back to be able to get her legs and to get that ball off. Quick release. That's a great move. Good D. Great D.
Wilgers missing down low. Elena Jarnot to Lee, trying to feed a pass back into the lane, and it's a turnover, and Sentler with a basket at the other end. Gretchen Sentler with 15 points.
Yeah, and Lexi Lee, that was a forced error there. Tried to squeeze it in, and then she didn't get back on defense and hustle. And I know she's frustrated there. She gets one to drop. But I think she sets the tone. As she goes, this Mustang team goes. And they're going to need her to just be a little bit more efficient and more involved, more active in this game.
Sandler's drive. This time doesn't end in a hoop. Rebound to Payne, front court. Lee, a deep 3 ball is good.
Yeah. Bob Lyons is going to call timeout. He senses Lee getting hot. You know, and for most players, John, if they've missed a bunch of threes in a row, you'd say that transition, quick pull-up 3 is not a good shot. For Lexi Lee, I mean, that's a shot she makes a lot, and that's her game. And you can see she stepped into it in rhythm. She got her legs involved into it and knocked it down, and this leads down to 17. And again, we've seen they can go from 25 points down to 15 points in a flash. So Benilde's got to stay aggressive, keep attacking, and they should be okay here.
14:33 to play in the second half with a 17-point Benilde lead. They have led from the start, scoring the first 20 of this game. Mustangs got as close as 11 before Benilde stretched their lead out to 18 at halftime.
Well, and you can see the Mustangs are going to pick up full court, try to get the pace of this game to increase, hopefully forcing Benilde to make some turnovers. And I like that strategy. That's the Mustang basketball. That's how they play. And then there's no better way, John, to get the rate of the game, the pace of the game, other than picking up full court.
Wilgers. And a steal for Lee. Lexi Lee for 2 more.
Now she's involved. She gets a steal on one end, does a great job. She's not that big, not that tall. She uses her body well, shields off the defender, finishes with her left hand. And all of a sudden, the Mustangs are starting to get their hands on a lot of tips. And that's just great anticipation, great. She's got phenomenal hands. And look at her shield her body there. She uses that shoulder to defend herself and gets off with that left hand. And that's Lexi Lee basketball, not just some pull-up threes and some bad shots. She can get involved in so many ways and impact the game. That's what they need if they're going to get back into this game today.
Stanley on the block to A.J. Sherrod. Couldn't get the shot to go, and a good look at it. And then the pass too far ahead for Jacqueline Jarnot, and the turnover for MCA.
Yeah, and Elena, she saw Lexi Lee ahead of her. And if that would have been just a couple feet below, they would have gotten a nice, easy layup and gotten this lead down to 13. You can see they're trying to trap the ball carrier, or the ball handler. I've been doing too much football, JJ.
Sherrod missed the shot. A drive by Stanley down the lane. She's fouled.
Well, we haven't heard much from Brooke Stanley, but that time she did a nice job keeping that play alive, driving to the basket, being aggressive, and looking to get to the free throw line here and stop some of this bleeding. And it's exactly what Bob Lyons talked about at halftime. Hey, no lead is safe. We got to continue to execute. We got to play even better than we did in the first half because we know they're coming at us.
Brooke Stanley. And her first points of the game from the line, the junior. And it's 63-46. Lee open, shot won't go. Watkins rebounds. She's fouled by Coughlin, who thought she got the ball cleanly.
Yeah,
Third on Coughlin.
Lexi Lee just been a little short on some of her jump shots. Almost like her legs are a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued. She's just got to get a little bit more arc on that, but a great offensive rebound by Watkins. And Coughlin certainly said she got all ball. And again, sometimes it's just the refs doing the best they can. They don't have great position. If it looks like a foul, they're going to call it. But you got to capitalize. You got to make free throws, especially when you're trailing by 16.
Watkins got one of the free throws. Coughlin to the basket and is fouled by Lewis.
John, we had a great angle of that from where we're sitting here in the corner of the gym. Did you see how no one came up to stop the ball there?
Right.
I mean, we were right behind there. We could see that. Someone has to stop up, and instead of trying to stop that right in front of the rim, someone's got to pick her up above the three-point line and slow the ball down. I mean, that's basketball 101 when you do 2-on-1, 3-on-2 drills. Someone stop the basketball. And this Benilde team, these guys are too smart. They're too talented. If you don't stop them, they're going to get to the rim and either finish themselves or draw another defender and pass to a teammate.
Yeah, like Coughlin, now the fourth Benilde player in double figures for points.
Yeah, they have great balance tonight, really do.
Lee, three, off the mark and out of bounds.
You know, and as good as Lexi Lee is, that's a shot Bob Lyons for Benilde will live with every day. A pull-up three-pointer with the defender in your face from about 4 feet behind the three-point line. And that's a shot Lexi can make. We've seen her make that over the years, but you know, you'd rather get a shot in rhythm, you know, when it's touched a couple other people and you step into it and get your legs into it.
Jacqueline Jarnot back into the game. She replaces Naomi Lewis. Right off the inbound, they go down low. And shot missed, and here comes Elena Jarnot ahead for Maranatha.
Wilgers missed that, but that was a really nice looking move. She went strong to her left.
Payne fouled by A.J. Sherrod. And Sammy Payne will try to finish a three-point play.
Yeah, nice move by Sammy Payne. You know, she's not a big-time scorer for this team, but it seems like tonight she's had some timely buckets when they've really needed them. And she took that ball in the left wing, and she drove really hard to her right and was able to still get the shot up, even though she drew some pretty hard contact. And the other thing it does, you make your free throw. It's obviously a three-point play. It allows them to get their full-court defense set up where they like to be aggressive and try to create a turnover, maybe trap the ball here at the half-court line. And sure enough, that's what they do, and that's what they're able to do.
And they get the turnover. Payne ahead to Elena Jarnot. Elena Jarnot hard and strong to the basket and finishes.
Does she go north and south faster or quicker than anybody else you've seen maybe in girls basketball? She is a lightning bolt. And again, that's what it did. They set up their defense. They create a turnover. They throw the ball ahead. Look at Elena just weave through defenders. And she goes north and south extremely fast. I like her game. I like her game a lot. You can tell she plays at a very high level.
13-point margin again as MCA won't quite go away. Our next boys basketball telecast, our next basketball telecast comes your way Friday on Channel 12. It'll be live as Cooper will host Columbia Heights. 7 p.m. tip-off. Watching live here on Channel 12.
Well, we got to see some Cooper games. We did a couple of Cooper games. Was it 2 years ago, John? We saw Rashad Vaughn when he was playing.
Oh, yeah.
Man, was he fun. And then if you're a Gopher fan last night, you got to see North Dakota, and we got to see Armani Quentin Hooker, excuse me, a guy that we covered quite a bit in the last couple of years, and he's one of their leading scorers for North Dakota. Looked pretty good and comfortable, and that was certainly fun. And then of course, you know, there's lots of guys we've covered playing at that next level, and we saw Jake Winicky for South Dakota State have a great game against North Dakota State in football. So fun to see guys that Channel 12 covers go on to that next level and really do well. I know you've been in Disney World for the last 6 months, so you probably haven't followed much. But
or 5 days. Well, it seemed like 6 months at times. Nice pass off, Stanley open. Coughlin run into by Lee, who got the steal to Elena Jarnot. High off the glass. Payne follows up. That won't go. Coughlin gets it. Releases to Sherrod. She's going to take it at the basket, missed it, and Lee rebounds.
Yeah, Bob Lyons is rabid. He thought that was a foul on Lexi Lee. And then to call it on that end, he's disgusted. But God, I'll tell you one thing. If we're going to come out of this game tonight, it's both of these teams are in really good shape, condition-wise, because this is just up and down. And there's no question, that was a foul. Wilgers was reaching in, but it looked like Lexi Lee had some contact maybe down on the other end.
That's 4 on Wilgers. She'll come out, and Liebel's back in. Remember, she has 4, and so she'll be on the floor. This one thing Benilde does not have a lot of is depth this year. It's one thing they're a little worried about this season. It's certainly a good quality 5 that they can put out there, though. Jarnot missing.
Look at that.
Stanley trying to get the pass off, and Jarnot gets the steal and then gives it away. And here's Liebel at the other end, and she'll finish on the feed from Jetson Sherrod and Sydney Liebel. Her first points of the second half, has 17 in the game.
Well, she picked up that third foul, came back into the game, and that's always fun when you get a present to you for an easy layup going the other way.
Benilde had a turnover, and then they gave it right back, and the basket from Mayan, Jessie Mayan, the senior, with her first points of the game.
Yeah, that did not, where we were sitting, that looked like she did not have an angle there, but she was still able to get that off the backboard and get 2.
MCA trying to pick up that defense, trying to trap the ball. Baseline shot, though, up and in.
Guess who?
Sandler with another huge basket in this game. Had some big ones in the first half. Now has 17 points.
Yeah, the Mustangs, they're trapping every chance they get. They're trying to create turnovers. And if Benilde can have girls knock down that mid-range jump shot and just be strong with the basketball, they're gonna be tough to beat, and they're gonna get her Sadler for travel there. And again, there's a trap, and a nice job being strong with the ball. I couldn't tell if that was Brooke Stanley that got that out, but then, you know, hits it over to Sattler and she knocks it down. That's just great offense.
10:20 to play here in the second half. Benilde's led all the way. Maranatha has kept it to a respectable distance after trailing by 20 right out of the gate. Jacqueline Jarnot's 3 from the corner wouldn't go. Here's Coughlin ahead. Lost the ball on the floor, able to give it up. Baseline drive, shot won't drop. Another try, and going to the line will be Sattler.
Just great
Stayed
effort.
with it.
Yep, great effort. She threw up kind of a wild shot there on the baseline, but her effort just went up. Take a look, she didn't go up strong there. She kind of floated that up, and just look at that extension. Right arm goes up, grabs that rebound, and then to have the court sense to be able to go right back into it, knowing she was going to get fouled, just a really heads-up play. She got 17 points, and she's just had a tremendous all-around game tonight.
Payne back in. Elena Jarnot will get a rest. I don't know if she's been on the floor all 27 minutes, but I don't know, she hasn't been out much at all. Rebound on the miss, and then almost a turnover. Stanley Almost picked off that outlet pass from Watkins.
Well, Elena came out for 8 seconds, took 2 sips, and is back in the game. Coach Bierman, I mean, and I like the strategy. He plays his best players. You know, you see Lexi Lee, you see Elena Jarnot. You're seeing those girls play, you know, the majority, if not all of the basketball game. And of course, when you're down by 16 with 9:51 to go, you need your best players in the game.
Leo come into the front court. 32 in the season opener. He's 19 tonight. Here's Mine catching it down low. Gets fouled by Schlueter, and she'll shoot 2.
I like that too. Nice little baseline screen, and Mine came open. She had the height advantage against Schlueter, and she just turned and used her size and her strength and drew the foul. Now she's just got to convert those free throws. And remember too, made free throws are good for this Mustang team for not only the points, but also it gives them a chance to set up that aggressive trapping, full court pressure. And they've had success here in the second half doing that. And let's see if they do it here right out of the made free throw, and they do. Benilde, nice job of breaking that with ease.
Liebel trying to feed it in and off the hands of Powell on the baseline. And it's going to be MCA basketball off Benilde. Maranatha needs a run here of 6-8 points. Got to get under 10. They haven't been able to do that. They got it to 11 as close as they've gotten.
Oh, is that ever easy? A nice high ball screen, and Lexi Lee went to her left, and no one picked her up. I think even she was surprised, John.
A little trap in the backcourt. Benilde able to break the press. Coughlin. Liebel likes that 3, but she's not going to take it here. Baseline pass. Powell will kick it out. Coughlin to Powell, high off the glass. Too strong, and Lee rebounds. Fights through traffic. Ahead to Elena Jarnot off the glass and in.
That's what makes them very, very tough. Lexi Lee's got great vision, and they play so well together. They know where each other's going to be. And Elena Jarnot, nice job catching it and finishing on the left side. And John, they got it down to 11. Good ball handling, good vision, just over the top of the defense. And a tough catch too by Elena. And she's able to catch it, gather herself, jump stop, and finish with that left hand. I've been impressed, John, both teams really using their left hand a lot here tonight. Very talented and just very skilled on many levels.
Elena Jarnot picking up a foul there, her second. Liebel missed a short jumper, fouls her shot up. That won't go. Watkins has the loose ball, got it off to Mayan. Ball knocked away, turnover for MCA. Sherrod to the basket, strong, and finishes.
That's huge because that ball was 11, and if Maranatha comes down and scores, they get it to single digits.
Lee up and in.
Yeah, it goes back to 13, now we're back to 11. So we're going back and forth. You're feeling the energy, you feel the intensity starting to pick up, like every possession matters. And there's that trap that they've been trying to get all game.
Sattler, baseline Sherrod, back out top Liebel. Off for Stanley. Stanley will get a foul.
Yeah, they're going to get a body there, I believe. It looks like the referees are talking to the fans.
Right, we did get a foul on Mayan. It wasn't, he didn't initially signal the player number.
Yeah,
each team was 16 fouls.
Good, you know, some of the fans are getting very into the game as well. But that's the key. That's the trick here. When you're down by 11, You got to play aggressive, but you can't foul. The next foul is going to be the bonus. So you want to play aggressive, try to get steals, but you just don't want to foul and put Benilde-St. Margaret in the bonus. That was a beautiful out-of-bounds play. It was a give-and-go action. And Brooke Stanley passed it in, cut right to the basket, John, and a beautiful touch pass, too, by Sherrod. And this game could come down to something as simple as free throws. They're going to be in the bonus. The Red Knights will be the rest of the game. If they can knock free throws down and maintain this, 4 or 5 possession game, that's going to be huge.
Stanley hitting her free throws. And again, the lead is 13. 7.5 minutes to go here in the second half. Lexi Lee slicing through the defense, can't finish. Benilde rebounds, and then Coughlin has it taken away in the backcourt. And then we'll get a foul on Coughlin on the loose ball. She was going after it with Watkins.
And great effort. Let's see who got in there. It looked like that was Elena Jarnett, knocked it away. If she doesn't knock that away, Coughlin's got 2 of her teammates streaking down for a layup the other way. That was a great play. Elena Jarnett knocking that ball away, and then Watkins picking it up, drawing a foul. They're going to be in 1-on-1. And again, they want to make these obviously for the points, but it also to be able to set up that pressure defense. And they're going to be looking to trap the ball. They're going to look to trap at that half-court line or in the corner. Anytime they get the ball in the corner, if they can get a trap on, that's when they've been really successful tonight.
Watkins knocks both free throws down. Callie Post back in for Maranatha. Watkins out. Coughlin guarded by Elena Jarnott in the backcourt to bring it up.
Doesn't Coughlin, John, when she has the ball, don't you just feel like you trust her? She's got great ball handling, like she makes good decisions, really good passes.
Good pass to Sherrod, who missed his shot, and then stepping in as Lee to get the steal. Ahead to Elena Jarnott. Boy, those two work well together, don't they?
They sure do. When one of them has the ball, the other one knows right where to go.
And a steal for Post to the basket, and is fouled by Coughlin.
Yeah, we've seen Lexi Lee. She may have had a tough night shooting the ball, but she's gotten a number of steals. And then Elena Jarnott is so fast. And again, another deflection and a steal. And that's going to send Kylie Post to the free throw line. And don't look now, John, but the lead is back to 8. And they've trimmed this down, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. Trim it down and get it down to, 5, 6, 7-point game with, just under 7 minutes left. That's very doable.
Closest MCA's been since the opening 3 minutes of the game. Liebel, huge 3 from the corner.
Well, she's been pretty quiet here in the second half. Only her 5th point in the second half after a huge first half.
Rainbow 3 try from Elena Jarnott will not go. Sattler with the rebound. She'll push it ahead. Wilgers off to Coughlin. Baseline, Jackson, Sherrod to Sattler to Liebel. And Liebel's fouled by Mayan.
Smart move, put the ball on the floor, get the contact. She's in the bonus. She's an excellent free throw shooter. And again, that's going to be the key. Is the Mustangs going to be able to apply pressure, create turnovers without fouling? With 6 minutes and 15 seconds left, every time they foul, Benilde-St. Margaret's going to go to the free throw line for at least a 1-and-1 and soon for 2.
Earns the bonus with Sydney Liebel. That last foul in mine's her 4. She's the only MCA player with 4. Benilde really in some trouble. Liebel, Wilgers, Coughlin all with 4. They haven't lost any of them yet, but.
Well, and the thing is, they're all really important to Benilde's, success. So that could be a huge factor in this game.
Lee missing. Rebounds, gives it to Watkins. Her shot comes up a little short. Watkins will hand it back off to Lee. 3-pointer blocked by Sattler out of bounds.
Yeah, nice job by Lee keeping that ball alive. Nice job by Watkins keeping it alive. And just really good timing. Sattler timed that perfect.
Sattler trying to get the ball, and Lee, I think.
Yeah, Lee was out of bounds. Her foot was out of bounds. That's the right call. You know, just again, when you think the Mustangs are coming close and they're going to make this a close game, it's like Benilde just has that uncanny ability to respond.
Label the corner to Sattler, off to Coughlin.
Smart play, too.
High post and the pass down to Sattler. A good feed from Wilgers. And Gretchen Sattler finishes, and the lead is back to 15 with 5:40 to play. Jarnot pull-up from 15 is long. Rebound to Wilgers, and Coughlin into the front court. Feeds it ahead, and two more.
What a great
Sydney
pass.
Liebel with the hoop.
Allie Coughlin, just great vision, a really tough bounce pass. Oh, and right down the other way, Lexi Lee answers. John, this has been a fun game.
Track meet.
To watch, just back and forth, but I love it. Allie Coughlin has made a number of great passes. Just when I think I'm going to say Allie Coughlin's been the player of the game, all of a sudden Liebel hits the three, and then Abby Wilgers has had a big second half, and then Gretchen Sattler's been involved in everything. I mean, there's just been a number of girls tonight make huge plays, and you know how tough that shot is, and pull up three in transition with a hand in your face. You've had a rough night shooting, you've struggled all night, but to knock that down, this has been a really fun basketball game, back and forth.
You know, Benilde gets their lead cut down to 8, and then they go on a quick 9-0 run.
Yeah. And that's been the story. There's been a couple of times here today where obviously they got out to a fast start, but it seemed like the Mustangs were cutting it in. It seemed like they had all the momentum, and all of a sudden a big three or an and one or a couple of 6-0 runs or whatever. Benilde-St. Margaret's has answered the bell every time the Mustangs have made a run at them.
Lexi Lee, 26 points to lead Maranatha Christian Academy. Elena Jarnot has 24 on the Benilde side. Liebel with 24. Jackson Sherrod with 20. And Sattler with 20.
Just really nice balance for the Red Knights. I mean, just three girls with over 20, I think you said, and just had a number of players make big plays. And even though Allie Coughlin maybe isn't in the scoring department, she's had a great game.
Red Knights break the press. They get it ahead to Wilgers, who's fouled. And Wilgers will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Well, Wilgers was pretty quiet in the first half. It was really the Sherrod show from down low, but I think Wilgers has played really well here in the second half. She's had a couple of buckets. She's been able to have a couple of nice passes, too. And only 5 points, but a number of rebounds, a couple of great assists, too.
Missed the free throw. Jacqueline Jarnot got the rebound in her pass behind the lead and out of bounds.
You know, and that's just a turnover you can't have. There was no pressure. You know, that was just a miscommunication between those two, and that will drive a head coach crazy, as I'm sure Chris Bierman not thrilled about that turnover.
Sattler, the Knights give and go, and then gives it off to the corner to Liebel. Missed shot. Chased down by Sattler. Now reset out front with Coughlin. Quickly back to Wilgers, then back to Jackson Sherrod. How about that ball movement?
Yeah, she's great inside out, isn't she, John? I mean, she's going to the basket. She's hit some jumpers. She's been phenomenal.
Lee missed three. Jacqueline Jarnot there to clean up underneath. First field goal for the freshman.
How many Gretchen Sattlers are out there? It seems like she's everywhere.
Liebel standing in the corner. Doesn't need to take a three here. Finds the open teammate, and it's Wilgers for an easy two.
Lexi Lee was guarding her, and she gambled, tried to go for the steal. And you got to know, if you do that, there's no one behind you. That's going to result in an easy layup. So if you are going to gamble, make sure you get there, and she did not get there.
Payne turnaround shot won't drop. We'll get a foul, I believe, on Jarnot. Sattler gets knocked to the floor. That'll be a 10th team foul on MCA.
Well, that's a big deal. They'll be shooting two here the rest of the way.
Sadler with 20 points, 13 of those came in the first half. Has really played a great floor game for the Red Knights.
Yep. She's been everywhere. When they've needed rebounds, she's done that. When they've needed steals, she's done that. When they've needed points, she's done that. When they've needed just a decision maker to make the right decision, set up teammates, she's done that, John. She's really, every facet of the game, she's been huge tonight.
And it's both free throws, and the lead is suddenly 18 now with 4 minutes to play. Elena Charnot pull up three, long rebound off Sattler. Payne is there and scores.
You know, they're lucky they got that offensive rebound, but those are such tough shots, John. No one touches the ball. There's no rhythm. You know, you got a lot of people running around, so you don't have great offensive rebounding usually out of that. Those just aren't the best shots.
Shot missed by Sattler. Wilgers finally comes out of there with it and scores.
Has she stepped up here in the second half? Wow. Great offensive rebound, great footwork too.
Lexi Lee to the basket, fouled by Wilgers. Like, what are you kidding? Uh-oh, almost. Referee gives her a look.
She got the stare down after that. Look at the footwork right there. Just a heck of a move. On the other end, she couldn't believe that. She said she didn't touch Lexi Lee at all, and then she had a few words for the referee. But here's the deal: that's her 5th foul. She's going to be out of the game, and that could be huge, especially as well as she's played here the last few minutes.
I just don't think there's enough time now for MCA to come back. That was a 2-shot foul, and so they had started to run the court back up the other way, but there's still one more free throw to come for Lee.
You know, they should add a few seconds, I would think, to the clock.
They should put 3 seconds back on. They won't, and it's a 17-point game traveling on Sattler.
You know, and that's the thing when you got to be really decisive with the ball in the corners like that, right around that half-court area. And it's kind of scary, too. I know at home watching, you're like, how do you stop your dribble? Well, you know the pressure's coming. You know the trap's coming. So you start feeling it and thinking about it. You just got to be real decisive with the ball.
Lee missed on the 3, out of bounds. Charnot couldn't rein it in. It's off of her and out of bounds. Inbound comes to Stanley. Draws a double team, able to pass out of it to Sattler. Been able to work a little bit of clock, 2:50 to go.
Smart play, take some time off. Knowing the trap, you got to be strong with the ball, strong with the passes, be decisive, and just be happy taking some clock off here. Force them to foul you, smart job.
Coughlin is fouled, and we'll go to the line and call an intentional foul.
Wow. Let's see if we see. Oh, I think she tripped, and it sure sounded bad, but John, I didn't see any malicious attempt at a hard fall there.
That's Payne's 5th foul. As Coughlin will shoot 2.
I like this Benilde-St. Margaret team. I like all 5 of their starters have a lot of talent. They got great balance. They can shoot inside out. They can play fast. They can play slow. Their guards make good decisions. They have A.J. Sherrod down low along with Abby Wilgers. They got a really nice inside-out basketball team.
Wilgers, one being the only starter who didn't score in double figures. She finished with 9.
And she probably could have if she hadn't fallen out.
Backcourt chased down by Stanley. A post right in her face. Able to get the pass off to Sattler, out of bounds. Off Benilde. It's a good pressure defense by the Mustangs. Force a turnover. Inbound comes to Elena Charnot. Spins in the lane and scores.
You know, if she would have come out of the gate tonight, John, instead of throwing up some threes early on, doing that where she was just attacking the basket, It could have been a different outcome, a different start to the game other than a 20-0 deficit right out of the gate.
Stanley and Liebel both missed for Benilde. Jarnot off to her sister Jacqueline Jarnot. And we're going to get a foul called on Sherrod. Only her second. One player hasn't been in foul trouble, along with Sattler for Benilde. And Jacqueline Jarnot to the line for 2. Second one is good as well.
Makes them both.
14-point game, but under 2 minutes to go. Sattler lost and Liebel picks it up. Timeout Benilde.
Smart timeout, Bob Lyons. I think he saw that 10-second clock, you know, already to 4 or 5. Ball in the corner, the trap coming. Excellent timeout.
Each team with 1 timeout remaining now with 1:53 to go. We talked about those tough games for Benilde coming up this week at Waconia on Thursday, and then hosting Marshall, the Tigers, on Saturday afternoon. Maranatha, they'll have a conference game at Legacy Christian on Friday, and then next Tuesday they'll take on St. Anthony. I don't know if Benilde will hit 100, but they're awfully close.
Well, that was the thing. They have 53, I believe, at half. Is that correct,
yep.
John? And you know, the question was, would they be able to sustain that for a whole game? And they've come out. And they've been able to do that.
Lee ripping it away from Sattler. It's over to MCA on the alternate possession.
You know, too, you see the effort that they're playing with right now, and it makes you wonder, too, in the beginning of the game, where was that effort?
Turnover, Sattler couldn't control it. It's back to Lexi Lee. Mayan trying to go baseline. Liebel able to stop her. Lee, a little runner from the lane, won't go. Ball tapped out to Sattler.
That's a tough shot from the baseline.
Sattler fouled by Elena Jarnot.
You're taking a shot while you're running behind the basket on the baseline. I mean, you can get that shot anywhere. I think Maranatha Christian Academy is going to be there at the end of the year, John. I don't think anyone would dispute that. The talent they have, their guard play. But I think in order to be the best team that they can be, their shot selection needs to improve drastically. And I think that starts with Lexi Lee coming out of the gate. We saw her take a number of, 25-footers well behind the three-point line. And she can get those whenever she wants. If she could have maybe got a couple of easy baskets early, we wouldn't have been in that 20-0 lead, and it could have been a whole different ballgame.
Lee here for 3, too strong. Rebound to post. Now it's Mayan with it. Coughlin fighting for the loose ball and gets the tie up. Great job by Allie Coughlin, a player we've talked about some tonight. I mean, you look at Jackson Sherrod and Liebel and Sattler and Coughlin, another one that's played a strong game tonight.
I love her game. She's tough. She's smart. She's gritty. All their guards seem to make the right plays, don't they, John? I mean, and it starts right here. Gretchen Sattler is one of them. She's been everywhere, but her and Allie Coughlin, when they have the ball, you just trust them. You feel like they're going to make the right play. And they, not to go on and on about them, but they just do. They have a nice balance of inside out, guard play, shooting, driving, ball handling, and decision making. And they've made their free throws here in the second half.
24 points now for Sattler. That last foul on Elena Jarnot, her 4th. Rebound, Liebel fighting for it in the corner with Jacqueline Jarnot, another jump ball.
That's our 27th jump ball in the last minute and a half, I think, John. Good hustle, both teams, but especially Sydney Liebel. Up 16, doesn't matter, trying to hustle for that offensive rebound. You love to see that.
Elena Jarnot driving too strong. Lee rebounds, gets it back out. Jarnot up and in.
Again, those two just knowing where the other one's going to be. You know, and Lexi Lee, she's not overly tall. She just fights for that rebound. Great pass.
Stanley drives and is fouled. This will be on Mayan. That's her 5th. .26 in the game for Lee.
28 for
28 for Jarnot.
Yeah, they got a nice one too. That third scorer for them might be an issue playing against some good competition. I don't think either of those two are going to have any trouble getting shots up, scoring the basketball. If they can get a consistent third scorer, that could be huge for them. You know, Jacqueline Jarnot, only a freshman. You're going to have some inconsistencies with the freshman. Some really high highs, probably some lower lows.
Brooke Stanley off the bench. 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And they jinxed her.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you totally jinxed her.
Rebound to MCA. Jarnot strong to the basket.
She wanted to get to 30. She's had a solid all-around game, and she can get any shot she wants, too.
Liebel gets bumped. And it'll be 5 on Jacqueline Jarnot. Liebel will shoot 2. Elise Moore, 5'10" freshman, come into for the first time to replace Jarnot. Free throw up and good from Liebel. 25 for her tonight.
So they have 3 players, John, in the 20s, correct? Benilde does.
We have 5 players total in the game between these two teams with at least 22 points.
Yeah.
Jarnot missed the shot, able to tip it out. Lee trying to corral it in the corner, foot on the baseline. Turnover to Benilde.
You know, and uncharacteristically, too, I think MCA is their guard play is their strength. I think turning the ball over is not something they're going to do very often this year. I just thought that first 2.5 minutes where Benilde came out and was up, 20-0, and just their intensity, the ease of which they got those transition baskets, and then I thought the Mustangs really shot themselves out of the game by taking some poor shots early. But since that, if you take away that first 3 minutes, it's been a pretty even back and forth game. It was just the way the start to this game, started out. It just buried them early and quickly.
26 for Sattler now. 99-82. Jarnot for 3. Won't go. Rebounded underneath by Post. Won't drop.
If they get to 100, do you get free Big Macs?
Something we should get. Benilde unable to get the defensive rebound. Finally, Jarnot foul. We'll go to the line.
I love that. Ellie Coughlin, that's going to be her 5th foul. And she's smiling. And I love the competitor. She said, you know what, I know there's only 3 seconds left. We're going to win this game, but I can't allow a free layup right there. And I think that says a lot about her character and what type of player she is.
Jarnot with 32 points. Stanley's going to fire one up, trying to get to 100 off the glass. And they'll have to settle for 99, but I think they'll take it. Benilde-St. Margaret's goes to 3-0, Ryan. A quick start in there to respond late there with about 6 minutes to go when MCA had got it down to 8. The crowd was fired up.
Yep.
They go on a 9-0-1 run quickly and put this game away.
Well, Sydney Lebo, who was on the bench with fouls there in the second half, came off the bench, and it was to 8, and she hit that 3 on the right wing, and that kind of stopped the bleeding, and all of a sudden they got right back into it. Then that lead went from 8 to about 17 in a couple of minutes, and that really was the end of the game right there. And hats off to Benilde-St. Margaret to to Bob Lyons, his program. They came out on the road, a tough environment, and really set the tone early. And I thought that first 3 minutes really was the key to this game, John.
Good win for Benilde-St. Margaret's. They go to 3-0 on the season. Maranatha will take away something from this game, though, playing up 2 classes against a quality opponent against Benilde. They're not going to play a lot of teams better than Benilde during the regular season.
And what's the worst thing? You lose an early non-conference game. It doesn't affect your conference. It doesn't affect your seeding. The only thing that'll come is that these kids will get better. These girls will realize, hey, maybe we are beatable. Maybe there are some things that we have to work on. And if I'm a coach, I love an early season loss just because it gets your attention, gets the players' attention, and you can really start to kind of mold the team that you want to be going into the playoffs and into the conference play.
So Maranatha goes to 1-1, and BSM now 3-0 on the season as we wrap up our telecast tonight from Brooklyn Park. For Ryan Iverson and all of our crew, I'm John Jacobson. Final score once again from Maranatha. It's Benilde-St. Margaret's 99, Maranatha Christian Academy 84. Good night.
Thank you.